Our finishing mechanics for the triangle once again before we lead some of our other stuff. Now, regardless of how I've gotten in there, again, there's so many different ways we can start to set our front triangles. I hit this push and pull. I open my guard up, I lock my partner in the mix. Now that I'm here, there's a couple things that I'm starting to think about. If this shoulder is not connected to my partner's neck, right, there's a free path for blood to rush up those arteries and into his head. Right? If there's free paths there, I'm not going to start to finish this strangle. So I need to look to close this space off on this side. So the way I go about it, typically my partner will probably bring this forearm into my hips. I'm going to get a 2-on-1 grip. I'm going to raise my hips up. So as I drop my hips, what's going to happen is I'm going to drop them down. That's going to create a disconnect. That disconnect is going to give me just enough time to bring that arm across my partner's body here. Now that I've got it across, right, this has closure over the arteries on this side. What we need to make sure that we do though is on this side here, that there's no space. I want to connect my hamstring right to his neck. So if you ever feel that there's a space here between your knee and your partner's neck, we need to look to close that. So even if we've got this, but there's space here, I can now straighten my leg and kind of push my partner's head in to start to close that space. Even here, it's tighter. I haven't even fully locked it yet. Now, for those with shorter legs, or if you're ever with like bigger people, sometimes people find it's hard to lock the triangle. Couple reasons this could be. It could be because you're too square to your partner, you haven't cut that angle. It could be in relation to how you're locking over your partner's back. What I want to start to look to do is I'm going to start to cut an angle. Now, 2 ways we can do that. I can either reach up, grab onto my shin, I unlock my feet, I put my foot onto the hip, and I can start to angle off here. Now that I've angled off, the way I would look to lock it up, traditionally I was taught just to lock over, keeping the shoulder in. You start to come down and finish. Still works. But again, if you've got shorter legs, the more of your partner that's in between your legs, the harder it's going to be to lock that off. So instead, what I want you to do is I want you to bring this leg up over and we cover the shoulder. So it's almost slipped behind my leg. Here. Now I can lock down, angle off, and I can start to finish. You'll notice that the angle of my shins, I try to line my shins up so they're parallel to each other. I'm not here. Here it's tight, but it's not as tight. The moment I move this off, however, and I start to get that little bit of a bicycle action with my legs, it makes it a lot tighter. Okay, so that's one way we can go about it. So we can force through, pop up, bring this arm across, reach up, grab the shin, cut that angle. We now cover the shoulder, lock it up, line our shins up and squeeze. The other way we can look to create an angle once we're in, I'll just skip straight to here. I bring this arm across. I'm going to grab his head and now I'm going to start to scissor my legs. But some people are struggling with that motion because it's a little bit different than what we've done previously. What you can do to help that, this hand, I can reach for an underhook under my partner's arm. So when I unlock my legs and scissor, I can kind of use this to help pull me around. Now everything's the same. Curl my heel down, cover the line of the shoulder, we lock, squeeze and finish, okay? So, whichever way you want to finish it, and he wraps it around my leg here. So now we need to have other ways that we can start to finish the triangle. Commonly when I used to get here, I used to just bin it off and go into like my omoplatas and things like that, but we've got really good control here. We have our partner's head and their arm isolated between our legs. It's kind of silly to just bin that off completely. So what I want you to start to do now is we're going to start to change the angle. This hand, I'm going to look to focus on controlling my partner's head. This is going to keep their posture broken. I will open my legs and unlock. Now, what I want to start to do is I actually want to start to bring my hips out to the side. You'll see this knee when I go to do this starts to drop down. So I'm holding his head, I unlock, I use this leg to drive off his shoulder to start to angle down. I want to try to get my calf muscle on the back of my partner's shoulder. So when I hit this movement, my calf is now positioned on his delt. The whole idea is, again, I'm driving his shoulder into his neck. My thigh, my quad on the other side is going to be driving pressure here. Once I manage to get to this position, now I can look to lock it off. Again, angling my shin out, squeezing, and I can look to get my finish. So once again, I hit this push and pull. He hides his arm. So I'm going to look to bring his head down. I now use this leg to bring my hips out to the side. My calf should end up just on the back of my partner's shoulder. So we go here. Now I can look to lock this off. and squeeze to get my finish. If I ever find that I'm here and I'm struggling to get it in, I can reach up to grab my foot and pull it tighter as I look to squeeze and get my finish from that. If that doesn't work, what's good is we do have those other options that I mentioned. If I do get to here and I'm struggling to get the finish or struggling to lock it up completely, then yes, now I can go into my omoplata finishes. The more advanced guys in the room, I can start to enter in to my leg entanglements, but have a go at that triangle first. You'd be silly not to go for the triangle if it's there. Right? Just because they've hidden the arm doesn't mean it's gone. Still try to finish it. If we really can't finish it then we go into those other options, okay? Happy with that one, team? For those more experienced ones in the room, if you want to play around with those other options as well, you're more than welcome. I say that knowing you will anyway. Okay, off you go.